Movie theaters have become a deserted wasteland with only one shining light of hope, and that's the Lord and Savior, Christopher Nolan, with his quote-unquote masterpiece, Tenet. Now, you've watched this latest Nolan joint and are, well, you really don't know. Like, what happened in this movie? Is the beginning the end and the end the beginning? Well, don't worry, because today we are going to break down all of the unanswered questions you have, discuss some theories, and try to explain Christopher Nolan's Tenet in the easiest way possible. Hello everyone, Jared here, and today we are talking about the latest summer blockbuster, or actually the only summer blockbuster of 2020, Christopher Nolan's Tenet. We're diving into, like, what is time inversion? What is the algorithm? What exactly is the true meaning of Sator in this movie? Well, don't worry, because we're going to be diving into the ending, explaining everything. Honestly, we're probably going to explain this whole movie of Tenet because, my God, Christopher Nolan likes to be sneaky and hide certain things in his movies. So sit back and relax as we explain this latest Christopher Nolan movie, Tenet. Wait, did I already mention the sit back and relax part of this? So it is safe to say if you're watching this video, then you've risked your life watching Tenet in a movie theater or watched a 360p version on 123movies.com. If not, here's a quick refresher.
Tenet opens on our main character called Protagonist because apparently Nolan handed in the final script and forgot to name our lead character. Anyway, he is played by John David Washington, so let's just call him John moving forward, as we see him and his team taking part in an operation at the Kiev Opera House. They are in search of an asset, which actually turns out to be part of the algorithm. I don't know, man, it's confusing. We'll get into that later on. John is saved by someone who appears to be moving backwards in time and sporting a backpack with a red string, which is supposed to be important because, you know what, the camera holds on it for a little bit longer than it should. The piece of the algorithm is taken by the Russian forces and John is kidnapped and tortured, narrowly making it out alive. He swallows a suicide pill. Well, I guess that would kill him if he then took a suicide pill, so it wouldn't make sense if he came out alive. Either way, he wakes up on a ship, discovering the pill was actually just filled with Mountain Dew and Pop Rocks, which in a bigger dose would have actually been lethal, and is now recruited into a secret organization and given the word Tenet. Key word here, peoples, because you know what? It's the name of the movie, but also plays into part of the end of the film. Anyway, there is a scene of John listening to Cher's If I Could Turn Back Time as he visits a scientist at this organization. If I could turn back time. Okay, that didn't actually happen, but he does discover that time inversion is apparently a thing. Instead of shooting bullets, the gun is actually catching them. John asks the scientist more about it, and she and the script are just like, no, we don't want to tell you. Aside from time inversion being applied to more and more objects as they have been obtained over the years, all of this leads John to India, where he meets another agent of sorts named Neil, played by Robert Pattinson. Basically, he's going to be his eccentric, well-dressed British work partner. The two of them reverse bungee jump up a building to confront an arms dealer named Priya about the reverse bullets. This leads the two of them to a man named Sator, who fits the mold of pretty much any Bond villain. Weapons, money, rich lifestyle, he's white. You get the picture. John and Neil devise a plan to use Sator's estranged wife, Kat, to get close to Sator himself. More backstory, yay! As it is revealed that Kat is essentially controlled by Sator from money, lifestyle, but also her son, which she is only allowed to see for a few minutes after school each day. The reason he controls every aspect of her life is some nonsense of forging a painting that Kat sold at some point. Don't worry, because honestly, the movie and the story, they pretty much do a horrible job of explaining it as well. The reason the two are no longer in a happy relationship is because one day when returning back to the yacht, Kat witnessed another bikini-clad woman jumping from the boat, therefore assuming that Sator was cheating on her. But you know what they say about assuming things?
Never assume. When you assume, you make an asshole out of yourself.
Essentially, John is now tasked with stealing this forged painting, and then Kat will be free. John and Neil organize a meeting at the Rhodes Freeport, where the painting is being held, or rather, they crash a goddamn 737 into the Freeport to create a distraction, like they really exploded this thing. While in the Freeport, they discover that Sator has a time inversion machine of his own in this facility. Investigating further, the two of them are attacked by two SWAT team members, getting into a weird forward and backwards fight. No, really, like this dude has way too many reverse Uno cards. only for the SWAT team member to escape. Obviously, the mission was a fail. John lies to Kat, blah, blah, blah. You know how the story goes. John then meets with Sator and is tasked with stealing plutonium, which, surprise, surprise, is part of the algorithm. Yeah, I know. We'll get into the algorithm later on in this video. Cross, double cross, reverse people driving on the street. Essentially, the mission is a bust as Sator and his men move forward and backward through time, which Tenet has coined as a temporal pincer movement. Yeah, it's mentioned in one of the scenes where you can't hear the dialogue, but it's an important concept. This results in Kat being shot by an inverted bullet, so the only way to heal her is to go back in time, so Neil, John, and Kat use Priya's giant wheel time inversion machine, moving backward in time all the way back to the time of the airport Freeport explosion, because there they will be able to use Sator's time inversion machine to go back into regular time flowing forward. Yeah, this whole movie is confusing as hell, even if I paid close attention. However, during this, backwards John fights forwards John, which turns out to be he was the SWAT team member from earlier in the movie that got away. Oh, it was him all along. Like, think about it. It's Looper. Who called it? Same dude, different time. There's gold bars. Now we discover that Sator, who has life-threatening cancer, is traveling back in time to the last day he was happy, which seems like something honestly I need to do in this year of 2020, which is the day on his yacht with his wife, where he will set off what is called a dead man switch, detonating all of the algorithm, taking the past with him in a selfish and sinister Bond villain move. However, John, Neil, and Kat know of this, inverting themselves as well, traveling back to the same time as Sator to carry out a good old time heist and save the day.
Okay, before we get into the final 20 minutes of Tenet, there's a lot of plot devices and plot pieces that we really need to discuss and explain. For example, what is the algorithm, what is time inversion, and why is Sator in the middle, or Sator in the middle of all of this? This is probably going to confuse you even more. First up is time inversion, and honestly, the mechanics of Tenet, it's mind-boggling if we start to dive into the details, but essentially time inversion is the ability to move backwards in time. Objects can have these properties after being exposed to a certain kind of radiation in the future, therefore they are traveling backwards, and humans can take advantage of time inversion as well, only with the means of a time inversion machine, which is that giant wheel type contraption that both Priya has and Sator has at the Rhodes Freeport vault. In this time inversion world, everything is essentially backwards. Lungs breathe in carbon dioxide, so an oxygen mask is needed. If you come in contact with yourself, you essentially explode. Fire turns into ice. It's no longer Taco Tuesday, but rather Taco Thursday. It's real funky, man. Now, sure, we have seen many time element movies, each working on their own properties, but Tenet's time inversion and world follows that of the grandfather paradox, where you cannot go back in time to f your own grandpa. I think there's a typo here. You cannot go back in time to kill your own grandpa, because in theory, this would create a paradox. If you kill your grandpa, then you would never exist, therefore not being able to kill him. It's brought up a handful of times in the movie, so yeah, it's important here. Also, characters cannot change the past. It may seem that way, but it's a predetermined outcome, unlike the hit Jean-Claude Van Damme movie Time Cop, where the villain goes back in time to tell himself about money-making tactics. It's more like Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban with the Patronus Woods scene. Sorry, we're getting way off topic here. Anyway, time inversion was created in the future because, science, no, really, the movie says not to worry about it at all, it's just science, by a female scientist whom they equate to J. Robert Oppenheimer, aka the creator of the atomic bomb. Obviously, like any scientist, they think they are doing work for the benefit of the world, only to find out that they can send bullets backwards. This in turn creates the algorithm, which is essentially 9 parts of the time inversion formula that when combined turn into a Go-Go Power Rangers Megazord. Go-Go Power Rangers! Just kidding. It's a dangerous weapon, essentially. Imagine an atomic bomb, but it goes backwards in time, destroying everything. This, in turn, if reasonably thinking, would cause everyone in the future to be dead as well. Well, apparently the future isn't cool, hoverboards and, sex robots, but rather more like Mad Max because of the devastating effects of global warming. Seriously, people, it's a major issue. Christopher Nolan says so. Anyway, the scientists broke up the algorithm into 9 parts, hiding them all throughout time because, you know, when she was thinking of this idea, she was only watching the Harry Potter franchise far too many times, taking the advice of Voldemort's Horcruxes. And then she kills herself. Now, all of this is where Sator is brought into the mix. He was just a city boy born and raised in South Detroit. Wait a minute, those are the lyrics to Journey's Don't Stop Believing. Anyway, he was a young man when discovering the first metal container from the future. This contained several gold bricks and instructions on where to find each part of the algorithm. So essentially, Sator is the Thanos of this universe, collecting the 9 pieces to construct the algorithm.
I am inevitable.
Except, like I mentioned before, Sator is very selfish, man. Having cancer, he plans on taking the whole world and past, in this case, with him when he dies. Okay, so I think I finally have everything explained. Time inversion, what the algorithm is, why Sator is in the middle of all of this. Now, let's get into the final 20 minutes of Tenet because there's still a lot to happen. Alright, so this is a multi-plot unravel in a sense, as future Sator is back in the past, along with future John, Neil, and Kat. Kat is tasked with meeting future Sator, distracting him long enough for John, Neil, and the newly added Ives, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, who is part of a militarized tenant organization who stops these time crimes. I don't know, man. Anyway, Kat's storyline here is to meet Sator on his yacht. Future Sator believes that this is past Kat, which in reality this is future Kat. Blah blah blah. Kat sees that this is an opportunity to be free, killing Sator, sliding him off the boat via a sunscreen lathered slip and slide, and Kat herself diving off at the last second before her past self gets back to the boat. Spoiler here, this now all ties in to her at the beginning of the movie seeing a bikini-clad woman jumping off the boat, therefore thinking that Sator was cheating on her. In reality, she was the one jumping from the boat. Okay, not really a huge shocker. Now jumping over to the final Tenet operation, Sator's men get word and are supposed to bury or set off the algorithm, therefore destroying the world as we know it.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
It's 2 teams, blue and red, moving forward and backward through the operation, again creating a temporal pincer movement, aiding in the win over Sator's men. However, at one point, Neil inverts himself back to regular time to try to help John from a cave-in. However, it's too late, as John makes his way to an underground facility, only to find a Russian on the other side of a locked door, about to set off the algorithm. However, the dead body on the ground, which has the same red string on the backpack from earlier in the film, do you remember that now? Springs to life, taking a bullet, and runs away because he too has a reverse Uno card. This allows for John to stop the Russian, secure the algorithm, and safely make it to safety with the help of Neil once again. Ives, John, and Neil all now split up the algorithm to hide it, thus saving the world. However, this is where one of the biggest twists of the film is revealed, as Neil turns and it is shown that there is a red string on his backpack. That's right, Neil has been the mysterious backpack stranger from the get-go, but an even bigger twist is that he is from the future and was recruited by John himself. So in a weird twist of fates, this is the end of Neil's journey as we know it, because we see him die literally 10 minutes ago, or is it 10 minutes from now? I don't know, time is confusing, but this is the start of their friendship for John. One moving forward in time while the other is moving backwards. The film then ends with John tying up some loose ends, aka killing Priya, and making sure that Kat and her son are safe from Sator's looming presence. The end. That is the ending of Tenet. But there's still a lot of questions, like what does it all mean, right? Well, don't worry, because we're going to talk about some hidden things, some secret stuff that Christopher Nolan kind of hid in this movie, and some other kind of theories that I think carry a lot of weight. Okay, first up is the realization of our main character at the end of the movie. John ties up all of the loose ends, killing Priya, but something in him clicks. Him setting up Tenet. That's right, John, or the protagonist, is actually the creator of this secret agency known as Tenet. He inverses himself, going back in time, creating the program, of which then he recruits himself later on in the future, where he meets Neil, and the events of the movie take place. No, seriously, this is how the movie plays out. So essentially, the whole movie of Tenet is one giant temporal pincer movement of sorts. So the beginning is the end, and the end is the beginning, sort of tying back to the saying of the past cannot be changed and is on a predetermined path. However, amongst further analysis, Nolan was going for the exact structuring of this movie, a movie structuring that can be seen from every single angle, which ties directly into what is known as a Sator square. A bit of history lesson here is that a Sator square is essentially a word square containing 5-word Latin palindrome, of which the oldest datable representation of the Sator square was found in the ruins of Pompeii. And the Sator square consists of 5 words that can be read from multiple angles: Sator, Arapo, Tenant, Opera, and Rhodes. Now, all of this may seem like a nonsense right now, but if we remember and really paid attention to what plays out in Tenet, all of these words are present in the film. First of which is Sator. He is the main bad guy, who is played by Kenneth Branagh. Arapo is mentioned as a character off-screen who actually is the creator of the fake Goya paintings that Elizabeth Debicki's cat accidentally claims are real, leading to her husband Sator having a hold over her. Tenet, well, we all know that that's the title of the movie, but also plays into the end of the film, where the red and blue teams each have 10 minutes to complete the operation. 10 minutes one way, 10 minutes the other. Opera refers to the opera house from the beginning prologue and is whispered to Sator by John at the dinner table. And Rhodes is the name of the vault organization at the Freeport, and also the Latin word Rhodes refers to wheel, which is what the time inversion tongue styles sort of resemble. Okay, I know this is getting exhausting, but given that the square's outer constant string joined with the square's central letter produces STRN, and that Saturn was the Roman god of time cycles. So you can see that Tenet is at the core of this whole movie, but also the trappings of the Sator square are carefully implemented all throughout this, showing us that it can be seen from any angle. It is all interconnected from the future to the past. Nolan, you crazy son of a beach. Now, before we wrap this beach up, let's get into one final thing and take a look at it, and that is Neil. And who exactly is Neil? Okay, so Tenet and Christopher Nolan straight up take a page out of Terminator Dark Fate, making the person sent back in time, in this case Neil, knowing John, and the two being lifelong friends and being recruited by him. Seriously, it's the exact same plot of Terminator Dark Fate. But why Neil? He seems to know John really well throughout this whole movie, even knowing what he likes to drink. Well, sure, it's revealed that they are lifelong friends in this weird opposite time inversion through line, but could Neil actually be someone we have seen before in this film? You're damn right he is. Neil is actually Kat's son, Max. Whoa, okay, hold on. Wait, what? Yeah. Well, it appears at the end of the film that John and Kat have some sort of romantic spark. So let's assume that the two of them get together, therefore becoming more of a father figure for the son. Boom! Theory locked into place. Except for the fact that Max and Neil have different names. Well, not exactly. Max is short for Maximilian, and then the whole film is playing with the time and things going backwards. Well, if we inverse Maximilian, the first 4 letters spell Neil. That's right, Neil is actually the son of Kat, which therefore explains why he takes care of her so much when she has the inverse gunshot and suffers and stays with her by her side. Max is Neil. Or none of this happened. The protagonist died at the beginning from the suicide pill. It's all in his mind. Christopher Nolan is messing with all of us. None of the movie makes any goddamn sense. It's all used as a way to get movie theaters open and back and making money because we're in this weird new normal where we are required to wear masks to survive, just like Tenet. I mean, either or. So that is it. Christopher Nolan's Tenet, the latest summer blockbuster, broken down for you guys, explaining everything in this movie. Seriously, everything. Time inversion, algorithm, who these characters are, what that ending means. So what did you guys think of this video, of Tenet? What do you think maybe I missed? A different theory? What little tiny details did you really appreciate in Christopher Nolan's Tenet? I want to know in the comments down below. Anyways, though, as always, thank you so much for watching. Watch some more videos up there or right over there. You know, brand new content every single week here on the J-Buck Studios channel. These Ending Explained Poorly videos take a lot of time. Please, God, just hit the like button or comment something down below. It would very much help me out. Anyways, though, I'm doing another one of these for a Netflix movie in a couple days. Stay tuned for all of that. Follow my social media down there. Like this video. Subscribe to the J-Buck Studios channel. And until next time, I don't know. Is this the next time? Have we already been to the next time? I don't know what time is anymore.